did with a close loss that may have been the result of a close call, according to head coach Todd Golden.
Questionable call where Will, they called Will out of bounds. Looking at the iPad on the sideline, didn't look like his foot touched the sideline.
Weekend saw FSU basketball suffer an ugly loss to Louisville. The Cardinals and FSU traded blows. However, a late run by the Seminoles saw the lead cut to single digits, but it was too little and too late as the Cardinals held on for the win. Jaguars outside linebacker Josh Allen at this year's Pro Bowl had a message for Jag fans.
I want y'all to, we got big things in motion, man, and get to work.
That's your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson.
At 9:58, it's 57 degrees. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
We would love to have Kelvin back. The sky's the limit. He's only going to get better because of the way he works. When you love something as much as he loves football, you can't help but get better.
Stepping up, fires it deep downfield. Once Calvin Ridley. Calvin's out there. Calvin's got it. 5-yard line into the end zone. Touchdown. Trevor Lawrence to Calvin Ridley for the score.
Yeah, Josh will be a Jaguar.
3rd and 3. Young goes down again, and it's Josh Allen. Boy, they're starting to pin their ears back. 4th sack for this Jacksonville defense.
You got to take a competitive football team and turn it into a champion. That's not easy, but that's our job.
You only get so many windows in this league, and we feel like with the personnel that we have and we'll continue to add, our window's now.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark.
All right, everybody, happy Monday. Welcome in Super Bowl week. Jaguars Today off and rolling on this Monday. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark. Sorry I left you hanging Friday, Tone.
No, it's all good, man, yeah.
I don't know if I can ever recall.
I can see you struggling. Yeah.
It was a struggle to get through the second segment of the show. And I don't know if I ever recall. Like, sometimes I'm too sick to come in like anybody else in any job. I don't ever recall necessarily leaving a show mid-show.
No.
It was kind of one of those deals like, all right, I made it in. I'll tough it out for 2 hours. It's not the most grueling job in the world, but
I can remember you had like a sick day one day during the season. It was early on in the season. I remember you sharing that with me, but you did the show. Like, you got here and had gone through whatever that experience was, but you still did the show.
There was another one where I came in and I didn't make it to the show last year. But anyway.
It happens.
Sorry or congratulations to all of you for not having to deal with me for the final hour plus on Friday with Tony and Tom McManus doing a typical great job. Pockets, how was your weekend?
It was good, man. I met me a legend Saturday down at New Smyrna Speedway.
Raheem Mostert.
Negative.
Oh, okay. He went to Raheem Mostert went to New Smyrna High School. Don't know if you knew that.
That's right.
He was in the area.
So, thought it might have been him.
Yeah.
Who was it?
It was Mike Skinner. He used to drive the Cup Series trucks.
Legend.
Yeah.
All right. New Smyrna Speedway. So you were just checking out the old Volusia County Speedway down there.
It was my uncle drives Super Late Mod, and he has one of the cars. He got second.
Right there on State Road 44, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. Been by it many times.
Did you ask him how tires go from no problem to metal on metal?
No, I did not.
What happened there?
My brakes was all messed up. I got them fixed. I had bad brakes and rotors and got them fixed.
But you're good now.
Yeah, we're good now. And my brake fluid was black.
All right, fine.
It needs to be like green tea.
Yeah.
So we're good.
It
only costs money.
I'm looking at myself on the YouTube video, Tony. I think I need some sun. I hit golf balls a lot, but I do it with the long sleeves on. I get the short sleeves on today. Your boys are looking pretty winter pale right now, I got to say. That's how I think I'm even more pale on the YouTube video. But go check us out on the YouTube. If you like, hit us up on social media all week long, as you always do, at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, at 1010XL Denmark as well, where we're going to be Super Bowl heavy this week, but obviously tying it in to your Jacksonville Jaguars. And this one has to do with your expectations for the lifespan of Trevor Lawrence here in Jacksonville. And we're going to assume for purposes of this question, that he signs at least one long-term extension in Jacksonville, right? And if he does, Tony, he's probably going to spend a decade here as a quarterback. Maybe even longer. Like, we'll have to see him play every year of his career here and be super successful, win many championships and all that stuff. But at the very least, let's presume he gets one major extension, 4 or 5 years, whatever the case may be. He's going to play a decade of football in Jacksonville. So with that, if that happens, what's the peak that the Jags will reach in Trevor Lawrence's time with the team? They've already made it to the divisional round of the playoffs. So there are only 3 levels you can go up from that. So you could play in the AFC title game, which the Jags have done 3 separate times in their history, never advanced beyond that. That is the peak of Jaguar football all time. You could be AFC champs, in other words, make it to a Super Bowl, but come up short. And that's the thing. You assume, hey, we're getting to a Super Bowl. You think you're always going to get back. You'll have more chances. It doesn't always work that way. By this time, Dan Marino in his career, comparing him to Trevor Lawrence, the Super Bowl was in his rear view, never to be seen again. Went in his second year. Had a high-scoring affair with Joe Montana. Montana's 49ers beat him. No big deal, Tony. We'll get a few pieces around Marino here. We'll fix up the defense. We'll get him a running game. We'll do whatever. Didn't ever happen.
Didn't happen.
Not to the level that they needed to get back to where they had made it to with Marino.
Yeah, I think he made it to the conference championship game 2 times.
Okay, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but didn't get back to that level
Didn't get back to the
again.
Super Bowl.
And even if you get back there, you got to win it then. Once you get there. I don't know. I think it's worse to never get there. Right? It's more of an achievement to get there. And to lose. People have said that about Michael Jordan. Look, he never lost in the championship. To me, like, if you win 6 out of 6 opportunities, that's fantastic. But if you win 6 out of 10 or 6, that's even better. Because, your best 6 seasons, you made it there and you won it. So did the other guy. But his next best 3 seasons, he advanced further than you took any other team. It is okay to advance. It's better to advance, to me at least, in the sum total of things. I'd rather be an AFC champ. It may burn you more in the moment. I'd rather be an AFC champ that lost a heartbreaker in the Super Bowl and knew you're that close than to never get there and experience it.
I'd agree.
Right? So you could choose playing the AFC title game. You could choose AFC champs or obviously Super Bowl champs, where as of right now, we got a big rush of votes in on this one. Just posted it up about 30 minutes ago. I got over 250 votes on this already. Still 56% of people who are voting so far feel that the peak for the Jags, that they will win a Super Bowl championship. Or the other end of the spectrum, have they already peaked? Will they ever get beyond the divisional round if you don't think they'll ever go further than they've already gone in the playoffs with Trevor Lawrence? That would be your answer there as well. So what's the peak for the Jags in Trevor Lawrence's time with the team? Super Bowl champs, AFC champs, playing the title game, or no, they've already peaked. We've seen the best of that. So we can discuss that and get a little bit in depth on that throughout the course of the day today. Did you watch any of the Pro Bowl festivities?
I watched all of it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Then we average about watching half of it.
Yeah. I watched all of it on Thursday or Friday, and then watched all of it again yesterday.
I watched a little of the game yesterday, and I tried. And I didn't try that hard because I didn't, make plans, to watch the game at a certain time. I middle of the afternoon, I'm like, oh, I bet the Pro Bowl flag football competition, for if you want to call it that, is on. I watched about 2 drives worth. I saw Minshew throw a touchdown. I saw Sauce Gardner get an interception. A lot of guys sucking wind out there, man. I'll tell you that, right?
Yeah.
Is
couple weeks not playing football. Yeah,
is that it?
I think so. Yeah.
Or is it just that we don't stick a microphone in their face? This is not the XFL, right?
Not as often.
I mean, Sauce Gardner,
Sauce
a full 2 minutes later, he's like,
I
feel like I caught my breath, and he didn't even run it back the whole way. And you got I'm just
only
thinking,
a 50-yard field.
Was it a 50-yard field?
Yeah.
Okay, well, he only ran it back half the way then.
Yeah.
Is what he did.
He ran about 40 yards, yeah.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I guess they did. It was weird. Okay, it's funny. I watched 2 drives, didn't even realize it. There was no kickoff, right?
Kickoff. No, you get the ball at your own 5.
Okay, so that's
and
what it was.
Midfield's a first down. You have 4 downs.
Gotcha.
Once you
can
cross
make
midfield,
one first down.
First
kind of like how we did when we played flag back in the day in intramurals. You had we played on an 80-yard field. Every 20 yards was a first down. Like you started at 20. If you made midfield or the other 20, you can get first downs that way.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. We're so progressive.
Yeah, I will say, because the last couple of years I have watched the flag football games especially, but I've watched all like the skills contests, everything for the last couple of years. I'm not saying it's for everybody, and it's not ridiculous to not watch it if it's just not something that interests you. But it's not like I ever watched anything that was going on with the Pro Bowl. I wasn't watching the Pro Bowl every year before that. For whatever reason, this has me more interested than the Pro Bowl had me interested before they were doing it under this current format. At least for me, it's more interesting. It's, everyone choose it however, throw it away as much as you want to. It's all fine.
If you like it, that's fine. Or if anyone likes it, that's fine. It doesn't, dodgeball and throwing balls at targets. It's not that interesting to me, But I'm watching it and I'm thinking, I mean, just because we're not playing on sand here, do we forget what happened with Robert Edwards? As I'm watching these,
Myles Garrett had the mild injury last year.
Right.
Doing the, gauntlet, I think they called it this year. They switched it up a little bit, but that was the event that he got injured in last year. It wasn't a major injury, but it was like, whoa, is this going to be the end of the the Pro Bowl as they're currently doing it?
Right.
And no, they tweaked some things and kept doing it. It's okay.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I hear when Sauce Gardner gets the pick, right, and he's running back, and they show a clip because everyone's mic'd up. I think if you were sitting in the 37th row, you were probably mic'd up at the Pro Bowl, right?
57,000 person crowd for that yesterday,
which is unbelievable. But it's not an NFL city.
No.
And we're spoiled to a large degree, right? You and I go to every Jag game. We see all these teams come in, and we get to do all this stuff, and it's different, if you live down there, you live in Central Florida, whatever, or maybe you're in a market where you want to take a vacation and go down
Orlando.
where the weather's nice. It's better, right?
And
There's
you get
a lot
to
of
go
stuff
to Disney.
to do.
You can go watch the Pro Bowl and go to Disney.
Right.
Fine.
So I'm not, I guess, that shocked at it, but I see on a replay of that play, Peyton Manning is yelling, pitch it, lateral. And I'm like, man, can't you just be satisfied with
No, he and Eli are going after one another.
Oh, I know they are.
Yeah.
I know they are. But I wonder what they get compensated for doing these kind of things. I thought about that. Eli Manning's got to be getting something for coaching this team, right?
Yeah. And it's obviously beyond meaningless.
Of course it is.
The whole thing is beyond meaningless. But you watch those two guys when you're going to the fourth quarter of the flag football game, and it's within a touchdown of each other, and you can see the competitiveness for both teams. It's like, well, now it's winning time, right? And it does feel like the intensity ratchets up for whatever that's worth in a game with that kind of format, but there was some level of intensity. It's obviously not NFL intensity there and between the two brothers, and it's part of the reason I've enjoyed watching it the last couple of years. I want to watch Peyton Manning lose, right?
Okay.
That's part of what I'm watching. It's like, I'd rather watch Eli Manning win and Peyton Manning lose, and they've made it a team competition between these two guys. I'm pulling for Eli's team, even with that being the NFC versus the AFC. Pull for the Jaguars players when they're on the field and Eli's team.
Fair enough. If that's how you do it, we all have our ways of watching things and rooting for things and rooting for outcomes. So, all right, with all that said, let's focus in on your Jags this week, but what it takes, what are the missing pieces to get them to be one of these teams that's talked about for Super Bowl 59 or Super Bowl 60, where we've got a week of build-up. New Orleans next year, Tone. Let's take the whole station to New Orleans and eat etouffee and watch the Jags whip up on somebody in the NFC. I'm all about it. So if you want to be on today or any time this week, you know the ways to do it. 641-1010 on the All-Pro Roofing phone lines or on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. We've got Mike DeRocco joining us. He was covering the Pro Bowl festivities this week. We'll get his thoughts on what are some of the major pieces the Jags could move around or some of the major additions that would put them in a better opportunity, at least, to be a legitimate contender for Super Bowl 59 next year. So D-Rock coming up about 30 minutes from now. You're welcome to get in. Also, it's not going to be the swag bag per se. We'll call it the Jag bag, I think, this year. Super Bowl Jag bag contest. We'll explain the details. They're pretty simple, and we'll explain, at least as of now, what's in the Jag bag that you may be able to get your hands on, and we'll tell you how you can enter coming up in just a minute. So stick around for that. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark here with you. Already gave him out, but once again, hit us up on social media at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, and at 1010XL Denmark. And vote on.
Let's go racing, boys!
Oh, is this a new one? Is this a new one for
I
you?
don't know, I'm in the mood for NASCAR.
All right. Fine, man. It just caught me by surprise. I didn't really even give you a little hezzy on the letting you play the pockets in there. So, all right. I need to know. Make sure we get all those racing references. He's in a NASCAR frame of mind, apparently, ladies
Only
and
in
gentlemen.
February.
That's fine.
And then, March, I don't know, it'll be something different.
All right, that's fine. You know what? You do you, Pockets. Tune in every day to find out what Pockets has next as his audio accompaniment. All right, so we're ready to roll. D-Rock coming up in less than 30 minutes. What will the peak be for the Jacksonville Jaguars in the Trevor Lawrence era? Will they actually win a Super Bowl? How confident are you, and where do you fit in with the rest of the fandom right now? It's something we'll be discussing throughout the day. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey for Awaken 180 weight loss. You know what? It's been months now since I lost weight with Awaken 180, and now it's all about maintenance. You've probably lost weight before. If you're at all thinking about needing to drop some pounds and what's the right way to do it, you're probably like me. You probably tried a lot of different methods. Some of them actually work in terms of losing the weight. Generally, they don't work in terms of keeping it off, but that's the difference with Awaken 180. You lose the weight rapidly, 4 to 5 pounds a week. I lost 9.5 my very first week and dropped 25 pounds or more in less than a month. I've kept all that weight off that entire time because it's free maintenance, free support for life once you hit your goal weight with Awaken 180. Call them up and get started and get a program that's tailored to fit your lifestyle. They are definitely experts in the field with over 21,000 satisfied customers. Call 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800. Whether it's 10, 20, 50, 100 or more pounds you need to lose if you want to lose it and keep it off. That's Awaken 180 online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Jaguars Today from the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute studios.
Joe, I'm afraid I'll have to take your badge and gun.
Joe Cowart.
Captain, if we could just please...
I don't want to discuss it.
Noon to 3 weekdays.
Hand them over.
On 1010XL.
He believes there's probable cause to believe...
You're not a police officer anymore, Joe.
Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Pella Windows and Doors. Look, it's kind of cooling down right now. I love opening my windows up this time of year. If you're looking to upgrade your windows in your home, I want you to visit the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. Ask about their latest hurricane and impact-resistant windows and doors, rated #1 by Consumer Reports in all 3 main window categories. You want quality, style, and protection? Visit PellaJacks.com and the showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. That's Pella Windows and Doors online at PellaJacks.com.
Well, hello there. Join me at Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino to celebrate a new era in gaming with live craps, roulette, and sports betting now available to go along with the biggest selection of slots in South Florida. Plus, all your other favorite table games. Complement your night with my award-winning fine dining and casual fare options, lively bars and lounges, or catch your favorite A-list entertainer at Hard Rock Live. Discover your rhythm today. Go to hardrockholly.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT. Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino.
Visit Monahan Jewelers now through Valentine's Day for savings on all GIA certified diamonds and discounts store-wide up to 40% off. And interest-free financing on all purchases. Certified diamonds, gemstones, engagement rings, diamond studs, designer brands. Monahan's has it all. We're not a chain store. We're your local family jeweler since 1977 with a world-class inventory of fine jewelry and diamonds and gemstones available in any size. Support your local family jeweler now through Valentine's with huge savings on our inventory. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Superior Fence and Rail knows about exceptional customer service. From the first call to the final inspection, Superior's team provides first-class care with great communication, friendly installers, and quality fence products. There's a reason why Superior is the top-rated fence company in Jacksonville. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail for your new fence today.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Brian Wall here. Would you take your paycheck, go to the bank, cash it, and then simply throw it up in the air? I didn't think so. But in a way, over the years, that is exactly what you're doing if you have old or builder-grade windows in your home. Even if you have a brand new home, those windows are not the best windows you can have to save on your energy bills. Window World has sold millions of replacement windows to homeowners like you, and Window World's customer satisfaction is the highest in the business. Please check Window World out yourself and save on your new windows and on your energy bills. Compare with other companies and you'll see Window World is simply the best for less. It's up to you. You can call Window World and get a free estimate, get the best guarantee in the window replacement business, save money on your new windows, and save more on your energy bills. Call Window World today at 904-443-7001 or go online to windowworldneflorida.com. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Business owners, regular maintenance of your storm drains is crucial for preventing parking lot floods and protecting your property from damage. Give Duck Duck Rooter a call today and schedule service with our VACCon team. 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com.
Whether you're undertaking a major home renovation or just a simple repair request, American Electrical is your 5-star Jacksonville-based electrician to get the work done right. Experienced design building department working seamlessly with their electrical contracting department to help you create beautiful lighting spaces and electrical plans that make your house flow. And remember, with American Electrical, it's wired right at a fair price. Call American Electric at 737-7770. Look for that red, white, and blue eagle on the side of their truck, and you'll know it's American Electrical.
When the hammer drops on the Frangie Show, it's me, Hayes Carlion, dropping my opinion. Brought to you by Golden Hammer Roofing and Gutters, the golden standard in roofing on 1010XL.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
For the first time ever, the Super Bowl will be played in Las Vegas, the sports betting capital of the world. VSiN, the sports betting network, delivers all the betting trends for the big game. Historical analysis, betting tips, prop bet strategies, helping you cash tickets from the national anthem to the Gatorade bath. Download VSiN's free Super Bowl betting guide right now. 1010XL.com. That's 1010XL.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, more Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, just typing up some of the rules to the Super Bowl Jag Bag contest that we're going to do this year. Pretty straightforward. It's very much similar to the swag bag contest we've done in the past. Tone, I'm going to have Jaguar-themed goodies, including some commemorative unopened bottles of soda from the 90s that commemorated there's one from 93 when the franchise was awarded. There's one from the inaugural game. The one commemorating the inaugural season. They're very cool. And you can't just get them anywhere.
No,
right?
yeah.
They're probably a bunch of them around Jacksonville from people who collected them back in the day. But
I had a few of those sets,
Yeah.
not Jaguars related, but whatever related. Like I had a set of Pepsis from when Shaq got drafted in Orlando for whatever reason.
they do all that kind of stuff,
Yeah,
right?
I had some Braves championship Cokes.
I'm going to take one out of each kind, put it together, and make it's 5 or 6 different kinds, and along with some other Jaguar-related paraphernalia. I know I've got a Leonard Fournette bobblehead in a Jaguar uniform that it's a bobble, or it's a Pop Funko is what. It's not a bobblehead. It's a Pop Funko that I bought a few years ago just thinking, I'll give this to somebody, and now's the time.
Yeah.
So all you got to do is listen closely. Hey, that's all you have to do. Just listen closely. But I'll explain this very simply, and we'll repeat it many times throughout the week. So you have any opportunity, you can go to Twitter or X, and I'm typing it up now as we speak with the details. But want an email, one single email. If you send 2 emails on the subject, you're disqualified from winning. So be careful. Think about it. You don't have to send it today. First come, first serve has nothing to do with this.
Before kickoff on Sunday.
Yeah. Correct. Okay, I want one email in the subject line, Super Bowl contest. Doesn't have to, something like that, right? Something that's evident that I'll know to look. Jag bag, be good. We used to do swag bag. Don't want to make it confusing. All right. So in it, predict 2 things. One, who's going to win the game? Which team? That's it. No point spread, nothing. Just who is winning the game. Okay? Everyone who gets that part right, we go on to part 2. Part 2 is make a prediction of one thing that'll happen during the game. Could be Patrick Mahomes completes a pass. Well, you got a pretty good chance of that happening, right?
Yes.
So everybody then who gets let's say you pick the Niners to win, okay, and the Niners win. Everyone who picked the Niners to win and gets the prediction of what will happen in the game right, goes into the voting room.
Consideration.
Yes. And then we decide, oh, okay, Patrick Mahomes completing one pass. That's not a very high bar. We're going to try to vote amongst ourselves, and it's our own subjective feeling on it.
Mm-hmm.
What was the least likely thing to happen that actually came true based on prediction? And that person will be declared the winner. So in other words, you want to make it easy enough that you can get it right, but complicated enough that it will pass muster as the least likely to have been right.
Yeah.
So you don't want to do, and we tell people this every year, you don't want to make specific predictions. So-and-so will have 137 yards and 2 touchdowns. If you say at least 137 yards, fine, then you get everything over that, right? But if you say 137 yards and they have 136 or 138, you're not winning.
Yeah,
so
the verbiage matters.
Don't make it impossible for yourself to win. Don't make some crazy thing, because it's not like the prize is a new Cadillac Eldorado.
Yeah. And once you send it and you're like, oh, I didn't mean when you send the second one, you're out. So,
yes, or I forgot to do this.
Proofread it.
And just read everything.
Make sure it says what you want it to say.
Yes.
And then send it.
Yes. And also, I'm going to put this in, and I may, vary on this. I may not. I don't know. Because we're going to have, glass bottle. I can already imagine we're going to have all kinds of weird stuff in this thing. You've got to the winners have to pick up their prize at 1010XL World Headquarters here in Jacksonville. All right, I'm not going to be now. Who knows? Will I change my mind and mail it to you? Maybe, but don't count on it. So, if that's a sticking point for you, you certainly don't have to enter, or you can enter and say, "Hey, give my prize to somebody else," if you're unable to mail it to me. So, anyway, there's that. I will get all the details posted up on. At MD_1010XL as quickly as possible. Let's go to the phones for the first time today. Thomas on the west side wants to weigh in on our Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day. We're starting off with here. If Trevor Lawrence gets at least one long-term contract extension with the Jags, what's the peak you see the Jags performing under his leadership? Thomas, what's up this morning, man? How are you?
Well, I'm fine. Go Jaguars. I'm going to go on a limb, and I'm going to say the Jaguars will be the next dynasty.
The next dynasty?
Like that. I say at least 2 championships, but I think we're going to be the next dynasty.
Okay. How do you define 2 championships in what period of time?
I would say 3 in 5 years. I think that what we need to do, and I'll say this, I go after Aaron Donald. In the off season, I think he would help fortify that defensive front, fortify the middle of the offensive line. I think our pieces outside of that, I think you look at it, our receivers, our tight ends, our running backs, our skill positions and the defensive backfield, we actually look pretty good. It's just that, a lot of people got Trevor mixed up. Say, oh, well, he didn't do so good. I said he was running for his life the whole time. And what proved it was last year when they started winning that second half, he was getting protection. And you see, if you protect Trevor, he can pick people apart. He can pick a lot of teams apart.
All right. Well, Thomas, you're a confident one. You went from at least 2 to 3 and 5 years in the span of 2 sentences. So that's good. And look, I appreciate it. I like the optimism, man. I appreciate the call. Thanks for getting us rolling here.
3 and 5 would qualify as dynasty.
Does 2 and 4 qualify? That's what the Chiefs are right now.
Yeah, probably.
Close enough, right? It would feel like you're the dominant team of a half decade at least.
Yes.
Right? Unless somebody won those 2 in between. Like if you won, somebody won 2 and you won 1.
Right.
Yes. I'll take that debate. Right? Let's have that debate, please. By the way, Aaron Donald is not a free agent.
No.
He's under contract for 1 more year. There's barely $500,000 in cap savings to the Rams if they let him go.
Yeah.
On the.
I think we've gotten to a point with Aaron Donald in his career that he's not going to wear any uniform but that Rams uniform.
I don't think so. And would he solve a lot of problems? Sure. Could we find $33 million in cap space? That's what he's counting right now. $34 million. His actual salary is only $10 million this year. So if you were to trade for him, here's the problem. If the Rams had fallen apart last year, it'd be more likely that you could see that happening. They lost by a single point to Detroit in a game they obviously could have won in the postseason and felt pretty good about themselves, I think, going in. So, whereas, sure, bring me Aaron Donald. I think that would solve a lot of problems. Even at his age, I think he'd still be a potentially dominant player for this football team.
Yeah.
You know, I would love to have him for a year or two. I don't think it's realistic, though. Not with the Jags cap situation, the amount of money they have tied up in the defensive line. I'm not saying that you wouldn't take Aaron Donald over anybody you have on the defensive line. It's not that. I'm talking about interiorly right now. Josh Allen's honestly in a different category. Josh Allen, because of the age factor, I mean, if you could have Aaron Donald or Josh Allen signed to a contract, Tony, I'd take Josh Allen all day long. By the time he's done with this contract, he'll just be getting to the age that Aaron Donald's at right now.
Yeah.
You know, and he has kind of flirted with stepping aside in recent years. So wouldn't mind it. I didn't necessarily expect Jags are the next dynasty right out of the gates. You know, be nice if we had put together back-to-back playoff seasons. I do appreciate the fact that there are still true believers out there, and I hope they're right? Like, I mean, we're not just going to pretend that Trevor Lawrence threw 35 touchdowns and 8 picks this year. It didn't happen. So he's got a lot of growing to do. If he does, I think they can win a championship with him. Honestly, I think betting-wise, like if you're betting the odds, Jags probably don't win a championship in Trevor Lawrence's tenure. That doesn't mean that's what I'm going to pick, because you can vote with more than logic. You can kind of vote with what you want to see happen.
Yeah.
I'm kind of torn between a couple of them, like either winning the whole thing or maybe just making it back to the AFC title game. Or will the Jags be one of those franchises that for decades just never makes it to a Super Bowl? I don't know. There's no reason why they can't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because they play in Jacksonville, they haven't made it before. Detroit almost made it this year. There's no curse on the Detroit Lions that is keeping them out of it. Their curse had been poor management for years and years and years, or not having the right quarterback, or whatever combination of factors. But they seem to have figured things out right now. If Detroit were to go to the Super Bowl next year, would it shock you or surprise you? It shouldn't.
No.
Right?
No. They were right on the doorstep of it this year. We'll see if they can manage the expectations being ratcheted up that high, you know, coming off as successful a season as the Lions have had in franchise history, right? Like, that's what they just had. They hadn't been to the NFC Championship game since 1993, and this was just the second time they had ever achieved at that kind of level in the Super Bowl era. They've won a championship back in 1957. That's the last time the city of Detroit celebrated a football championship.
Right, so when you hear long-suffering Jag fans, you know, I mean,
I'm not saying you haven't.
Right. There have been ways that you've suffered. There's no question about it. You've been one of the worst run franchises in the league for most of the last couple of decades. Not every single year in there, but there are teams that, believe it or not, have had it worse than you in that same period of time. All right, D-Rock, we always have it better when Mike DiRocco joins us from ESPN. Coming up in just a moment on the other side. If you'd like to get in, weigh on today's question of the day or any other Jaguar adjacent topic or the Super Bowl upcoming, Super Bowl 58, hit us up today at 641-1010 on the All-Pro Roofing phone lines. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark, Mike DiRocco coming up on the other side. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Underdog Fantasy. Man, it is a great week to get on board with Underdog Fantasy. If you're not there already, sign up today. Get used to the entire layout. Check out the Pick'em site. Look, you may decide, I'm not going to wait until Super Sunday. I'm going to get in on some of this NBA action, some of this NHL action. There's something for you at Underdog every day with their Pick'em game where they project player stats. You pick higher or lower. You can combine them with other predictions and win up to 100 times your money if all your top picks hit. Underdog is very easy to play, even easier to get started. Just go to the App Store, look up Underdog Fantasy, download it, and when you sign up, use promo code 1010XL. Same thing if you go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Underdog will double your first deposit with that promo code 1010XL of up to $100. They'll even give you a special pick of higher than 1/2 total yards to use in your first Pick'em entry. Basically a freebie to get you rolling. So take advantage. You do have to be 18 or older and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. If you're concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Jaguars
Today
from the JOI studios at 1010XL. Need more Gators?
We've got you covered.
Search 1010XL Florida Gators
where you find podcasts.
Or visit 1010XL.com to hear Hicken and Franchi on Mondays and Denny Thompson and Hacker on Wednesdays.
New episodes each week.
Hey, Scarline here. Tired of missing out on the conversation due to hearing loss? At Jacksonville Hearing and Balance, their team of audiologists led by Dr. Douglas Green can help you rediscover the joy of connection. Visit jhbi.org today.
Toilet or shower not draining? Water bill high? So many issues you want to cry? Call Mr. Rooter of Jacksonville. Have your number 2 business serviced by your number 1 plumber. Let us do your dirty work. Call us today.
Mr. Rooter. If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it worse. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
A customer called Duck Rooter saying they had some nasty stuff backing up inside their home. So we went with our camera to look inside their plumbing lines. And sure enough, tree roots in the sewer line. Need to see what's blocking your lines? Call our team to locate the issue and provide solutions to resolve it. 904-862-6769. Visit duckduckrooter.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jags. Duck Rooter, your fully insured and certified plumbing contractor, residential and commercial.
Hello. Every great call comes to you on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
Just pick up your telephone and dial.
Listen for great phone interviews all day on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
We'll talk on the phone.
On 1010XL.
You don't have to be a football star to get a signing bonus. The team at Republic Services needs your skills, and they're paying up to $5,000 for you to join the roster. You'll be joining a winner. As an essential business, the Republic Services trucks have not stopped rolling with hourly and weekly pay and better benefits and vacation packages than the rest of the league. Driver trainees, $1,000 sign-on bonus. CDL drivers, $3,000. Diesel mechanics, $5,000 bonus. Join the winning team at Republic Services today. Visit republicservices.com.
Equal opportunity employer.
Folks, the First Coast has voted. Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute is proud to be chosen as Bold City's best in 4 categories: Best Orthopedic Practice, Physical Therapy, Pain Management, and Foot Care Clinic. For the last 30 years, JOI has continually strived for the highest level of orthopedic surgery and rehab care. As the needs of the community evolve, so will they. That's why coaches, parents, and athletes choose JOI. Call them at JOI 2000 or visit JOI.net. JOI, where the pros go.
Listen up, all you Ospreys. UNF homecoming is just around the corner. You won't want to miss all the festivities, especially the Birds of Trade, as the UNF men's basketball team plays host at Central Arkansas Saturday, February 10th at UNF Arena, tipping off at 2 o'clock. Show off your Osprey pride and reconnect with your alma mater. That's Saturday, February 10th at 2 p.m. Visit UNFOspreys.com for tickets and more information. UNFOspreys.com. Swoop, swoop, swoop.
Hi, this is Carrie, the office coordinator at the dental practice of Dr. James J. McCall. Dr. McCall, along with me and my fellow team members, are committed to making your visit to the dentist a pleasant one. From scheduling, filing insurance, or reviewing treatment options, you're always our number 1 priority. When we say join our dental family, we believe it in our hearts. If you are looking for a dentist in a warm and relaxed atmosphere, call the dental office of Dr. McCall at 620-9225.
Exciting news from Leonard Truck Accessories in Jacksonville on Blanding Boulevard. Stocking brands like Real Truck, UWS, WeatherGuard, carry-on trailers, and more. The best deals with the best prices only at Leonard Truck Accessories on Blanding Boulevard. Leonard, your truck, your style.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous, don't be scared. Go to carlsondentalgroup.com. That's carlsondentalgroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Open early and open late. Dailies is always there, making things easy for you to cruise in and cruise out. So hit Dailies Cold Case the next time you're craving a cold one. Bud Light by the case, plus plenty of singles to choose from. Corona, to the king of beers, to Stella or a natty. They're all cold at Dailies.
Need cash? Beaches Jewelry and Pawn has cash available. Ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. They need it all. Selling or pawning, get cash on the spot at Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Classic 80s with Mike DeRocco. Gotta love him. ESPN's finest. Covering your Jacksonville Jaguars. It doesn't matter. There's no off season, particularly when the Pro Bowl is right down the road in Orlando, Florida. Tony, let's say good morning to our good friend D-Rock here and welcome him aboard. Michael, good morning. How are you, buddy?
I'm great, guys. How are you?
We're well. Just guessing, you might not have been able to make that Pro Bowl trip had it been in Honolulu, or am I wrong about that?
Yeah, I might not have been able to make that Pro Bowl trip if it was, like, in Tampa. Orlando is probably the range there. The
just
funny
within
thing
range.
I wasn't supposed to help cover it, and I just asked, I'm like, hey, can I get a credential so I can just go down and talk to the Jags guys? Because, I miss locker room clean out. And they're like, yeah, no problem. And then, like, last week or the week before, I get an email. Okay, here's the coverage plan for the Pro Bowl. And I'm like, wait a minute, wait. I was not supposed to be there for 5 days. But, no, I mean, it was a fun event. And, driving around Orlando is always a treat.
Oh, always a treat. Mike's in a great mood this morning.
Because I'm coming home.
I guess that's it, right? Tell us about your interactions with Josh Allen this week. And, we all here locally made a fairly big out of Trent Baalke saying now about a week and a half ago that he had not had any contact with Josh Allen's representation in terms of what's going to happen in terms of keeping him here in Jacksonville, but stated that he will be here. Obviously, the specter of the franchise tag gives them the final say in that. D-Rock, how did Allen react to any of this when you talked to him last week?
Yeah, he was very diplomatic about that and, reiterated that he wants to be in Jacksonville. He loves it there. He hopes things get done, but, that's an agent deal that he's got to, he'll let his agent handle all that, all the politically correct stuff that you would expect him to say, But then I talked to some people sort of close to the situation there, and, he's nervous. He's a little bit, you don't know what's happening. You don't know whether you're going to be able to stay here. He's not sure or nervous about the franchise tag. Are they going to make him play on the 1 year on the franchise tag? Is there going to be any kind of negotiation between, the two sides for a long-term deal? What kind of money can he get? I mean, it's just sort of, the uneasiness of the unknown, and we'll find out relatively shortly here because what is it, is the 22nd the first day they can put the franchise tag?
I believe it's the 20th. Yep.
Right, and then they can only use it between or apply it, I guess, between then and then. I want to say it's like 2 weeks or a week before March.
It's like March 4th or 5th. Yep, they get about a 2-week window there.
Right. So we'll see. I expect them to put it on him just because you need to protect yourself from the Jaguars' perspective. You don't want him hitting free agency at all, and you don't want to be rushed into a deal that you don't really feel good about if you're trying to negotiate before the free agency window, because if he hits the market, he'll be the most sought after defensive free agent probably, and he'll get a deal that the Jags probably wouldn't want to have to pay. So, I expect the franchise tag to be used on him, and then, that buys them time, and maybe they can get something done before free agency, but most likely it's negotiations would go on into the summer, and you'd see something sort of like the Evan Ingram deal where he signed, his extension just before camp.
So what if they don't get that extension done, right? Josh has a set of parameters that he thinks he's worth, and that's his prerogative, and the Jags feel the same. And by the way, there's no doubt they'll use the franchise tag if they don't get a deal done in the next few weeks, D-Rock, because they're not going to let him walk for nothing. I mean, that would be crazy. Do you, and I know this is projecting a lot, but under that circumstance, it's August. Has Josh Allen showed up if he's still under the franchise tag and they don't have a long-term deal done?
Well, I don't expect him to be there for OTA's voluntary stuff. He's going to do the same off-season that he did last year, the same training schedule and all that good stuff. And he did not show up for, the OTAs and the voluntary conditioning and all that other stuff. He was there for the mandatory minicamp, but he was under contract. So I'm not sure. And I didn't get a sense, or I got a sense that even he's not sure what he does at that point if he doesn't have the long-term deal in June. And then obviously when you go back to August, like you're saying, look, you don't show up now, they're fine. The fines are not rescindable now. That's one of the things that was, I guess, placed in the new CBA is that, before teams would waive the fine. It's like, okay, my guy's here. Finally, we got a deal done. We're not going to bother fining you. Well, now the fines can't be waived. So not only would you risk fines like that, you risk not getting any money at all.
Well, but if he doesn't sign the tag, they can't fine him. He's not under contract.
Right. But if we were talking tag or extension, if he doesn't have an extension, they use the tag.
But they can tag him, and if I'm Josh Allen, how long does he go, nope, not going to sign it, waiting on that long-term extension? Yeah.
Okay, I misunderstood what you were asking. Yeah, I don't know. I did not talk to him or anyone near him about that. I get the sense from Josh that you got to do what's right for your family, and you got to do what's right for you. And he's made his position pretty well known. Look, I want to be here long term. But if you don't sign the tag and you don't show up, you risk. Are you going to sit out? You know what I mean? Are you not going to play in 2024? That's the risk that you take if you're going to take that strong stance. And I think we have a good idea from the last several years of Trent Baalke that he wouldn't be a guy that would be held hostage, so to speak, on a threat like that. We had a long way to go between then, and a lot of stuff can happen. I know Evan Ingram, obviously didn't sign the franchise tag right away and was going to show up and play anyway. I mean, he eventually signed, if they hadn't come up to a deal, he would have signed the tag and he would have been there anyway, because like I said, you don't leave money on the table, but that was Ingram, and this is a different situation with Josh. But I kind of think they'll get something done. It may not be early, but I kind of think it'll be an Ingram situation where they get something done in, July, and he signs it when he reports for camp.
Imagine the pickle they'd be in right now if Ingram had been playing under the tag.
Yeah.
Right. And
they had 14 catches, going to get you a lot of money.
Had that guy as a potential free agent as it is, it's Josh Allen and Calvin Ridley trying to figure out how they would be able to potentially hold on to both those guys. I'm with you. It appears that the direction they're going with Josh Allen is the tag. With that being said, where do you put the odds currently for Calvin Ridley playing in Jacksonville next year?
30-70 that he's here, maybe. Like, look, he's looking for a payday. Absolutely. He's trying to get that second deal. And if there's a position that you could probably take a little bit of a risk on, it's at wide receiver. You saw what they did 2 years ago when they were healthy in 2022, and then you would just expect your guys to be healthy again in 2024. So that offense hummed along, and, this is a chance to, bring in a rookie as a high draft pick, to kind of get yourself positioned for 2025, 2026, when you're going to be making some decisions on those guys. So I think if you have to lose one of those two guys, I think you take the bath on Calvin Ridley and make sure Josh is there. But, they like Calvin Ridley. Doug Peterson likes Calvin Ridley, and Trent Baalke, I've been told, really likes Calvin Ridley. So let's see if they can get something done there. But that one I would think would be something that, Ridley's going to get a lot of interest on the open market when he hits free agency. So the Jags might find themselves in a situation where, we're not going to, like the Juwan Taylor situation. They wanted to bring Juwan back, but once he got offered $20 million a year from the Chiefs, they were like, yep, not doing that.
Right.
And that, I don't know what that number is for Calvin Ridley from the Jags' perspective, but, they're not going to sit there and overextend themselves on him. I can pretty much guarantee that.
Well, look, D-Ron, I thought Trent Baalke, speaking about Calvin Ridley, made it very evident how he felt about him. He talked about, I love this guy. He's all about ball, and whether that's just to pat himself on the back because he's the one who brought him here, whatever, it doesn't matter. It seemed very evident that Trent Baalke had interest in bringing Calvin Ridley back. So what do you make of when you get a report on an unnamed source, anonymous source, coming out of the Senior Bowl? The Jags were very disappointed in Ridley. I'm sure there were things to be disappointed about, right? But it made it seem like the overall attitude towards him was pessimism. He was too skinny was one of the criticisms that we heard last week. Do you put any credence into these kind of reports, or is this just kind of the scuttlebutt of the offseason?
I think it's a little bit of the scuttlebutt of the offseason. Were there aspects of last season that they were not happy with? Absolutely. Did they not like that he ran wrong routes and he did not get the adjustments? But yeah, absolutely they didn't like that. But he played every game. He didn't miss a game with an injury. I had not heard anything about them being upset at his weight or his size. Did you hope that you would get more downfield stuff from him? Yes, but that's part of the problem with the offensive line as well. I mean, we can always go back to that, and then you also have Trevor, who's banged up for basically the last third of the season, and no Christian Kirk, and teams are able to really kind of concentrate on Ridley, and by the way, no Zay as well for most of it. So there were a lot of factors that went into that. But I know there's a belief in that building that him coming back in the second year in that offense with Trevor Lawrence would be a significant they would expect a significant boost in his production. Just the familiarity. And Ridley said it in the locker room the day after the season ended. Yeah, it's like Trevor and I, we didn't get a chance to work a ton. We weren't on the same page a lot and all that stuff. We threw a bunch, but it wasn't enough. He felt like they could do a lot more. So, this kind of year, all kinds of stuff gets out there. Some of that stuff gets floated out there, so other teams think, you know what? He's skinny. He didn't really work hard. Well,
right. Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe we're not. We're only going to offer him $12 million a year, or whatever the number would be.
Yeah.
Type of thing. So it's we have entered the 10% season, as I like to call it. I believe about 10% of the stuff that's floated out there, because it's at this time of year and in free agency, and especially as we get closer to the draft, it's all floated out by teams. That information that gets out, it's getting out or being put out for a reason. It's not just, hey, someone found that out. Somebody's leaking stuff like that. There's always an ulterior motive about it. So I kind of believe, like I said, 10% of what I hear. So, take that for what it's worth.
Do you believe that Cam Robinson will be the team's opening day left tackle next year?
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day. I can't remember who I was, and we were on both sides of the thing there. I do think that, because if not, you're creating another issue. Now, look, do I think Cam Robinson will be the starter in 2025? Yeah, probably not. But this team has some significant issues that they have to address this offseason. And if you do not have Cam Robinson, now you've created another issue that you have to address. Walker Little hasn't proven he can stay healthy. Walker Little has been a really good safety net as a swing tackle who can play both. I'm not necessarily sure I believe you move Anton to left and make Cam play right, and if he's unhappy, so what? I think he stays at left tackle. So, I think I've seen some early mock drafts that have the Jags taking a left tackle in the first round. I don't see it, especially if Cam's back, because now that's a pick for 2025, and we all know this regime is probably under a lot of pressure to get back to the postseason and make a deep run, and getting a left tackle to start in 2025 if Cam Robinson's still on the roster doesn't help that.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of ways they can go, though, man. If you save that $16 million, if you do let him go, you've got two options on your team. You could either play Walker Little at left or Anton at left, and vice versa at right. Draft a right tackle at 17 with the idea of playing Walker Little at guard for a year or making him your swing tackle, which he kind of is right now. I think there are a lot of different ways you can go, because it depends on how much money they need to open up to franchise tag Josh Allen. I mean, they don't even have enough money right now to apply the tag, D-Rock, without making some adjustments to this roster and the salary cap.
Yeah, but, I mean, you can create space. You know what I mean? There's going to be some guys that are released. Like, I expect Rayshon Jenkins to be released. I expect Brandon Sheriff to be released.
Right, but as you do that, if you release Brandon Sheriff, there's another hole that you're open. I'm not saying they won't. You're right. They're going to do that. But, at least with Rayshon, you feel like you've got an in-house option in Antonio Johnson to elevate into that spot.
Right, and you don't need to take a guard high in the draft either. That's a position you can get in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round and feel pretty good about the guys that you get. And they love, the kid from Baker County. Why am I blanking on his name right now?
Cooper Hodges.
Cooper Hodges. They feel like he's a guy that's going to be able to step in and be a contributor at the very worst, and maybe be a starter at that right guard spot.
They got to be right, though, man. I mean, these guys small school guy never played a snap in the NFL.
Correct, but they never make those determinations thinking, what if we're wrong? They always make those things go, feeling like they're right, like they trust that they evaluated the kid right. They trust what they saw in camp last year before he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
They trust his toughness, trust his strength. They don't make those decisions and go, oh, holy crap, I hope we're right. Is that arrogance or confidence? Yeah, probably both. But, they didn't draft him hoping he'd be a really good player. They drafted him thinking he would be.
Where do you expect the Jags to focus their free agency efforts this year after basically taking a season last year to say we're not interested in playing the game?
Yeah, I don't know that I don't expect them to be as aggressive as they were when they signed Kirk and Foye and Zay, that group, and Ingram, obviously. I think it's more going to be what we saw last year. I think they're going to take a look at some of those offensive linemen that are available, interior offensive linemen. But I don't expect them to be buyers at a premium position like corner and certainly edge rusher. I don't see them spending a ton of money and resources there. Receiver, that might be a different deal if you don't feel like you're bringing Calvin Ridley back. But again, you're not going to be, if T. Higgins somehow hits free agency, which none of us expect that, you're not probably going to be players for T. Higgins either. So more of an approach like last year in terms of looking for some value as opposed to the year before where they were needing to get big-time starters.
All right, D-Rock, let's take a quick look at our question of the day, let you weigh in before we let you out of here this morning. Assuming Trevor Lawrence eventually signs a long-term deal, let's say he's here for at least a decade, okay? What's the peak the Jags will reach in his time with the team? Will it be a Super Bowl championship, an AFC championship, an appearance in the AFC title game, or have they already peaked by making it to the divisional round? What would you say? I mean, well, there are only three ways you can go up, right?
Right. Yeah, I don't think they've already peaked.
Okay.
No. That being said, we know what the AFC is loaded with in terms of quarterbacks and teams. Things change, obviously, but, you can't be happy if you're the Jags with Jim Harbaugh over there in L.A. with Justin Herbert. So, I'll say I don't think people understand just how hard it is to just get to a conference title game, because for 20 years you watched the Patriots go do it, and now we've seen Pat Mahomes in Kansas City do it.
Saw Blake Bortles do it.
Yeah, but, I just don't think if people understand just how hard it is to just get to the conference title game and then even to win that and get to the Super Bowl. So I'll be optimistic and say they make one Super Bowl in the next decade. they put it all together for 1 year. Trevor has a MVP kind of season because I think he's capable of that, and they make a Super Bowl appearance.
They make an appearance.
Yes, I don't know if they're going to win it. I mean, I don't know.
Putting you down for
AFC
AFC champs.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
think they could be. I think they could win the AFC 1 year out of the next 10. Absolutely.
We're going to save this, and when the Jags make the Super Bowl, we're going to say D-Rock already told you they're going to lose. Like, why would you listen to this guy? So, no, all kidding aside.
I completely, totally expect that. No.
Well, you know
no
that
doubt in my
I
mind
will
that
take advantage of that if I possibly can. The thing is, by tomorrow, I'll forget you even said it. So that works in your favor as well, Mike Duraco. What do you have cooking now that the Pro Bowl week is done? What's the offseason, between now and, say, the draft look like for you at ESPN.com?
Yeah, I've got some free agent busy work to do. I got to put together some blurbs of the guys that are going to be impending free agents and get that, filed already for, help when teams do sign those guys. And, I'm working on a story on the stadium and, I've got hopefully an Evan Ingram story that's going to get done in the next week or so. But a lot of it's going to, kind of depend on, obviously what happens with Josh and we'll see what happens with Calvin Ridley heading into free agency.
Right on, brother. All right. Hey, check out Mike on Twitter or X at ESPN Duraco, and he'll be frequently popping in with us in the offseason, looking for another triumphant run at the Breakfast Bowl title in 2024. D-Rock, all the best. Thanks for stopping by, and when the weather warms up a little bit, I'll see you out there on the golf course.
100%. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, buddy. There he goes, Mike Duraco on his way back from Orlando right now. He just made it within the parameters, Tony. Tampa might have been a bridge too far, but we got a little bit of coverage on Josh Allen, Evan Ingram, and Ross Matisic. Congrats to those guys for being named to the Pro Bowl this year. Halfway home, if you want to get in, 641-1010. Tell us, assuming Trevor Lawrence eventually signs a long-term deal to remain in Jacksonville, what's the peak that the Jags will reach in his tenure with the team? That's your Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day here on Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Tire Outlet. Are you tired of overpaying for your tires? Well, if you are, you're obviously not going to Tire Outlet regularly, so cruise on in for the best selection, best quality, and, yes, best prices on the tires you need to keep you and your family safe on the road. They've got over 40 years of experience at 14 locations conveniently around the First Coast. Tire Outlet, the brand you can trust to not only perform great service at a great price, but have all the tires on hand. Over 300,000 in the local inventory. If they don't have them at the retail location of your choice, they'll usually be able to get them out there in an hour, whatever kind you're looking for. That's Tire Outlet, where you always get wholesale prices and premium service.
Jaguars Today.
From the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute studios at 1010XL.
I'm Brett Musburger, and you are listening live to Jacksonville Sports Radio 1010XL.
Is your roof showing signs of wear and tear? Well, don't wait for problems to escalate. Call Universal Roofing Contracting today to schedule your complimentary roof inspection. Right now, get 15% off roof replacement or repairs, plus flexible financing. This offer expires February 29th and restrictions apply. Universal Roofing Contracting, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com. The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
If you have had problems selling your home or haven't even bothered selling because of the problems that you would expect, here's a promise for you. Chad and Sandy of chadandsandy.com guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Simple as that, right? So if maybe you are worried about selling for less money, or maybe you want maximum equity from your home but not sure how, they have the answers, the solutions, the promises to take care of all that. Take it from Debbie in Orange Park. I was going through a divorce and needed to be close to family quickly. I was going to sell my home to an instant offer investor for $375, but I heard about Chad and Sandy on the radio and decided to call. Thank goodness. Chad and Sandy got me $45,000 more in just 3 days. Call the only agents we're trusting and recommending. Call Chad and Sandy at chadandsandy.com. The number is 904-414-6200, or you can go to chadandsandy.com. That's chadandsandy.com.
Credit for everyone. 500 vehicles in one location, 30-day exchange program. If you want it all, get it all at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Right now, just $500 down and only $288 per month gets you a pre-owned 2021 Toyota Corolla. Or you choose a pre-owned 2021 Camry, RAV4, or Tacoma for just $500 down and $388 per month. Plus, Arlington's Credit for Everyone program and 30-day exchange program. Save thousands and shop arlingtontoyota.com today.
What's the major difference between a crocodile and an alligator? The answer next.
Lightning, storms, and hurricane winds can ruin recent home improvements. Let Southern Oak Insurance review your policy today. Visit us online at southernoakins.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
While an alligator will see you later, a crocodile will see you after a while.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Lower mortgage rates are here, and smart homeowners are wiping out all their credit card debt with help from Loan Pronto. Hey, Prosser here. Right now, Loan Pronto has a cash-out refinance rate of just 5.49%. You heard me. That's a huge drop. So you can get refinanced now, get cash out of your home's equity to wipe out all those credit cards and other high-interest loans. You can save hundreds every month with lower payments. Or, if you still have a mortgage rate in the threes, you can use Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit. Just get the cash you need and leave your primary mortgage intact. Loan Pronto can get you $50, $75, $100, even $200,000 in just a matter of days. Bottom line, Loan Pronto's got several options to help you erase debt and take control of your finances. Call today, and you can even skip your next 2 mortgage payments. Call Loan Pronto now at 904-999-1508, 904-999-1508, or loanpronto.com, 999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, 5.49%, has 6.39 APR, subject to lender approval.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here for Pella Windows and Doors. Look, it's kind of cooling down right now. I love opening my windows up this time of year. If you're looking to upgrade your windows in your home, I want you to visit the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. Ask about their latest hurricane and impact-resistant windows and doors, rated #1 by Consumer Reports in all 3 main window categories. You want quality, style, and protection? Visit PellaJacks.com and the showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. That's Pella Windows and Doors, online at PellaJacks.com.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update, brought to you by Chad and Sandy Real Estate. In a tight game between JU and Lipscomb, the Dolphins fall by a free throw with 1:15 left to play. The Dolphins were led by Robert McRae, who had 22 points and 8 assists. Jacksonville is back at home later this week to host Central Arkansas. FSU Seminoles dropped the game on Saturday night to the Cardinals 101-92. Number 3, Jacksonville Icemen beat the Greenville Swamp Rabbits on the road 5-2. Iceman goaltender Matt Vernon made 32 saves. The Icemen have now, on 5 straight games, have outscored their opponents 29-9 during this stretch. Icemen will be back at home later this week to take on the Orlando Solar Bears. It's 57 degrees at 11 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, take a little mid-show look in on where things stand as far as your predictions on where the Jags will peak in the Trevor Lawrence era. This is assuming the Trevor Lawrence era is not just a rookie contract. This is at least a second contract, big-time extension. Or the guys talking about it on primetime on Friday, what the numbers will be. I heard Matt say like $300 million. It'll start at $300 million. I don't know. It depends on how many years that deal is for. Obviously you want to sign it if you're the team to get as many deals as possible or as many years as possible because the contracts for quarterbacks at the top are just going to keep rising, right? Then see any thought process behind them getting smaller for the elite quarterbacks.
No.
And I'm not saying that Trevor Lawrence deserves to be considered an elite quarterback right now, but you might have to pay him like one,
Happened to Daniel Jones and Dak. So, if you're Trevor's camp, why don't you think that you're part of that group,
No. Statistically, he's not been what Dak Prescott has been, right? But he's also won a playoff game. He's won half as many playoff games as Lamar Jackson and Dak Prescott have won in considerably more years. in the league at this point in time. Anyway, we're asking today, assuming he signs long-term to stay in Jacksonville, I'm thinking a minimum 10-year career. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. Super Bowl champs pulling in just under 60%. So it's like a 60-40 split, whether or not you believe Trevor Lawrence will get you over the hump and win a championship. And quite frankly, man, I mean, I know when Trevor got here, it's going to be 3, it's going to be 5, it's going to be Super Bowl after Super Bowl. We had a caller this morning said it's got to be the next dynasty. Maybe they will, Tone. Honestly, I'd settle for one. It's so hard to win.
No doubt.
A championship. And we get, you look at it, it's not so hard for Kansas City. Well, they fell into the right guy. And I say fell into, I'm not saying it was pure luck. There were, I was listening to some anecdotes last week about how they had basically identified Patrick Mahomes when he was a freshman. And even though he didn't play much, had scouted him and wait do you see this guy coming out? But, you look at this Kansas City team, Tony, when you saw the Jags play them in week 2, do you think they were anything very special?
No.
I didn't.
No.
Their defense, I think, has gotten a lot better. Yeah. They played well against the Jags, but look, they've got Mahomes, who's Mahomes. They've got Kelsey, who's Kelsey. They got Pacheco, and they've got Rashee Rice. Those are their weapons. That's it. Right? And occasionally a guy's going to pop up and make a big play, but their defense, the defensive line and the secondary playing really good football right now, and some have argued they're the best unit that's going to be on the field for Super Bowl 58.
Could be. And they're going up against a San Francisco defense that hasn't looked quite the same in the last month as they had for the month and a half leading up to that period of time, right? They are being scored on more than I think many people would have expected during their playoff run to this point. So we'll see what that means for Kansas City getting ready for this Super Bowl. But yeah, defensively, the Chiefs have been good all season long. Like that side of the ball has been good all season long. And part of the idea of what Kansas City was early in the season is we all got to see him on Thursday night in that opener, right? We all got to see that there were 4 drops in that game that if any one of them had been catches instead of drops, they probably beat Detroit. Right, to open up the season that week.
And maybe you're feeling differently about them.
Maybe. And then the next week they come here to Jacksonville, and Jacksonville's defense was a completely different unit than it was by the time we got to the end of the year. Early on in the season, the Jags defense was making plays week after week after week, and they did against Kansas City as well. The offense just didn't hold up their end of the bargain. And, talking about whatever's going to happen with Trevor Lawrence in his next contract, I don't know how many years it's going to be ultimately, but I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of guys that are at the level of Trevor Lawrence or close to it. They're going to be signing long-term extensions for less than $50 million for quite a while in the NFL. I think 50 is going to be about where you start the negotiations with quarterbacks. If you're talking about, we want to extend him for 5-6 years, which I imagine when you extend Trevor Lawrence, it's going to be, we want to extend him for 5,
You want to get him for as many years as possible.
Right, 8 years. Those kind of things. I expect that to be the next deal Trevor signs. I think it's going to be top of the market when he signs it.
You think it'll be the top of the market?
It could be.
Right now, I'd say no, but I don't know that for a fact.
Yeah.
I don't think he's deserving of the top of the market contract, and I don't know if I'll feel by the time he signs a contract that he is worth that. Now, sometimes you got to pay that guy anyway because he's the next man up. We'll see about that, but about 60% right now saying they think that yes, Trevor Lawrence will get the ultimate prize here to Jacksonville in terms of a Lombardi trophy, and then fairly evenly split between the other options. AFC champs getting 15%, 14.4% on playing in an AFC title game, or 10.5% say they've already peaked, meaning, yeah, they could get to the playoffs. They can win a game. They've done that, right? And if they don't ever get to the AFC title game, they would have peaked in the divisional round of the playoffs. Look, yes, Blake Bortles made it there. He made it there with a phenomenal defense, and there was a long period of time with very little playoff success in between the glory days of the late 90s and making it back in 2017. Who knows? I'd like to think that because they are better positioned at quarterback, that's going to happen. There's no guarantee for that.
Yeah, not having to wait 20 years for the next one. Yeah.
Oh, certainly not having to wait 20 years. I'm just in general, are you going to be, are you a team that, if you were to name most teams and you're being fair, will Team X win a Super Bowl in the next 10 years? The answer would be a resounding no. Right? How many teams would you even say yes to? Maybe 8? Something like that, right? And you're probably going to miss out on a couple of teams like Detroit. Like a few years ago, you might have said no to Detroit. And now all of a sudden they look like they've got this great young nucleus and an exciting head coach and all this stuff. That can flip in a hurry too. What if Jared Goff kind of falls by the wayside? What if he gets hurt? There's a million things that can happen to a franchise. But anyway, weigh in on that one. We'll get to, won't be the final tally, but we'll get to where the tally stands at the end of the hour. You can continue to vote @MD_1010XL on social media on that one. Got a 7-round mock draft, Tony. I love a good mock draft.
No doubt.
Monday mock drafts, a staple of the program. 7-rounder here. What do the Jags do with their collection of picks? It's not that important on specifically who the players are, we find at this stage. It's, are they at least identifying the right needs for this football team? And we'll discuss that coming back on the other side from Pro Football Network. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark here with you halfway home. A little over that. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute studios. She's local, she loves sports, and she can kick your...
Hi, boys.
Lauren Brooks.
Wow. Maybe you should put some shorts on or something if you want to keep fighting evil today.
Afternoons on 1010XL.
Yeah, it's kind of what we do here.
92.5 FM.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. By now, everyone has heard about saving money on their energy bills. There are all sorts of things you can do to cut energy costs, but most people don't think about their windows.
But Window World knows that the biggest energy loss in almost every home is the windows. There is more energy loss from old builder-grade windows than just about anything else in your home.
You can upgrade your heating and air, your appliances. That's good too. But before you do all that, upgrade your windows to Window World's energy-efficient windows.
Window World's windows are easy to clean, energy efficient, and have the best guarantee in the business.
Window World's slogan is simply the best for less, and we mean it. You get great American-made windows, and you get to keep more of your money when you buy from Window World. Need any more reasons to buy your windows from Window World? Call them today and set up your free in-home estimate, or go online to windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World, simply the best for less.
Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
With modern smart home technology, you can control almost everything from the palm of your hand or your voice. Call the experts at Mr. Sparky.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Your on-time electrician, Mr. Sparky of the First Coast.
Go inside your home team's locker room with Jags beat reporter Hayes Carline.
Check out my blog at 1010XL.com.
So you can catch all the news and nuggets you need to know.
My blog is brought to you by Roland Reese Plumbing,
where quality and experience count.
Local 234 Plumbers, Pipe Fitters, and HVAC Technicians is now taking applications for their state-certified apprenticeship program. As an apprentice, you'll receive excellent benefits, higher pay, job placement, and even earn college credit. The 5-year programs include plumbing, pipe fitting, welding, and HVAC. A career as a journeyman means stability and security. For more information, visit ua234.com/apprenticeship. Local 234. Make the right connection.
Start your new year off healthy and get screened at Ackerman Urology for common cancers of the prostate, bladder, and kidney. Early detection is key with 5 locations across Northeast Florida. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
A lot of companies will tell you they're the best. At Custom Tree Surgeons, they show you every time. Custom Tree Surgeons has built an all-pro team. Every tree service professional has years of experience, continually trained and certified. They know what, when, and how to handle any job. It gets done efficiently and quickly by a team of experts. So for tree trimming, removal, stump grinding, and emergency services, forget any name other than Custom Tree Surgeons. There is no job they can't do better. Go to our website, CustomTreeSurgeons.com. That's CustomTreeSurgeons.com, and let them show you how the job is supposed to get done.
Good people drink good beer, and great people drink Mocama, a refined craft brewery out of Fernandina Beach, Florida. Mocama Beer Company brings sophisticated flagship beers, including Cosmico IPA and Dune Garden Lager, to the greater Jacksonville area. Whether you're hitting the water with friends or enjoying a backyard barbecue, Mocama has the perfect fare for your summer activities. Look for us wherever great beers are sold and find your Mocama.
Hi, everybody. Mike Dempsey here for Awaken 180 Weight Loss. This Sunday's the big game. Look, don't blame me. This would be much easier if I could say this has finally come. Parties, football, libations, food, all the festivities we welcome every February. The question is, what if you're trying to lose weight but still enjoy watching the with friends? The answer? Nothing. As I've told you before, Awaken 180 is built for real-life scenarios. The reason Awaken 180 is now in their 9th year and growing nationally, the program works. Eat wings and meatballs while watching the Super Bowl. Have a beverage while betting on the Super Bowl. Live your life while enjoying the Super Bowl. I think you get the point. Whether you're in the weight loss phase or in free lifelong maintenance, Awaken 180 won't get in the way of enjoying the big game. Reserve your consultation today at awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800 for Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Hey, this is David here with Royal Pest Services. Do you have that room in the house that is just too cold in the winter and just too hot in the summer? To learn about our pest-rated insulation, visit royalpestservices.com or call 886-2847.
Get ready for an extraordinary weekend at 1-to-1 Financial Ballpark. It's the inaugural Jacksonville College Baseball Classic, February 23rd to the 25th. It's Division I baseball at its best. Witness intense competition as Auburn, University of Iowa, University of Virginia, and Wichita State battle it out in a round-robin tournament format. It's a weekend of baseball you won't want to miss. To get your tickets and more information, visit jaxcbc.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Jaguars Today
on 1010XL.
All right, we'll get to this Pro Football Network 7-round mock. That's kind of, unless we're just taking a peek at the first rounders, those are the ones that are juicy to kind of dig into, see if the prognosticators at least have your team figured out in terms of what they need at the present time. Before we get to that, don't want to do this a couple times a day this week so everybody is well aware of what we're doing for our Super Bowl contest. We're calling it the Jag Bag instead of the Swag Bag this year. We'll have some Jaguar-themed items. So if you're listening to this program for whatever reason you're not down with the teal, that's your prerogative, but that's what's on the line right here, okay? We've got some commemorative unopened bottles from the 90s, you know, some going as far back as 30 years old on some of that stuff. If you're a Jag memorabilia collector, they're pretty cool. Maybe you have them, maybe you don't. I've got a Leonard Fournette Pop Funko in there. I know I'm looking around like you pick up things over the years, right? And they're really, you know, I'm getting to that point where I'm already like, what do I need any of this stuff for? You know what I mean? Like a wide variety of things. So we'll throw in what we can, maybe some 10XL gear as well. But basically send one email with like Super Bowl or Jag Bag or something like that, Super Bowl contest in the subject line. I won't be too picky about the subject line. And make two predictions. First one is which team wins Super Bowl 58 coming up. Chiefs, 49ers. If you get that one right, you move on to the second prediction, which is something that will happen during the game. For example, Travis Kelce will catch at least 5 passes. Okay.
Yep.
If somebody then were to predict Travis Kelce will catch 4 passes, yours is less likely to happen, right? And so as some of them are easy to weigh against each other, others are not. So all the entries, they get both predictions right, which team wins the game, plus something that happens during the game. We then vote on which of that second group of predictions was the least likely to occur. That person's declared the winner. It's all subjective based on how we feel about it, so there's no appeals panel or anything like that. And just make sure in your email you have your full name, best phone number to contact you in case we need to do that, and you have to be able to pick up the prize here at 1010XL World Headquarters.
Yep.
Not saying I absolutely won't send it out, but I don't want to get committed to shipping something that ends up weighing 50 pounds.
Yeah.
You know, I just, so
yeah,
there you have it. You know, by the way, our South American producer is in town as of tonight. Cristiano will be setting foot in Duval proper tonight. And rumor has it he's going to be coming over here to take Pocket's job. I mean, just come visit us tomorrow at 1010XL World Headquarters. So
weekly contract, remember?
It's week to week. You serve at the pleasure of Jaguars Today, sir. All right, but he will be visiting us tomorrow, so looking forward to that. He's going to come stop by the studio. I will say this, Pockets. I know speaking for taste, but Cristiano, when he contacted me, said he was very excited about meeting Emmanuel.
Ooh.
No word on young El Paquito.
Not on that boy.
No, but I'm sure he'll be overtaken by your presence once he gets to meet you personally. So that'll be great. All right. So let's get into this. This is from Pro Football Network, Tony.
Yeah.
And just, first of all, what they're doing, you've seen a lot of these mocks, they're projecting the Jags with their regular third-round pick, okay, which we know at the very least they're going to either be missing their third or possibly their second, okay? The second-round pick's number 48. The third-rounder currently would be number 79, okay? Now, they're expected to get a third-rounder and a sixth-rounder compensatory pick, but that's not announced yet.
Nope.
So you'll find a lot of mocks that don't include those. So what this one did, it didn't try to guess which pick the Jags have to give up. It gave them all their regular picks, plus they have a fourth-rounder from New Orleans, okay? It did not project compensatory picks. So it shows the Jags in the third round, for instance, having picked 79. The more likely scenario is they don't have that pick. They have something like 99, right? So whatever, it'll fall after pick 96, which will be the final pick of round 3. That's where the compensatory picks fall. Who knows how many third-rounders there will be. Who knows if the Jags will have the first, the seventh, the third, whatever. So somewhere in that pick 97 to 105 range, something like that is likely what's going to happen. So starts off, and again, this is not necessarily what they're saying should happen. This is just a projection, right, of how they would do it probably. But Jackson Powers Johnson, the center out of Oregon, has long, I think, by the pundits, been rated as the top center in this draft. Now, when we first started looking at mocks about a month ago, we saw him ranked in the mid-40s in terms of what type of overall ranking he had.
Yeah, I have been curious coming out of the weekend to see mock drafts that are coming out of the Senior Bowl and exactly where they're going to have Jackson Powers Johnson in a bunch of these mocks. Jackson Powers Johnson and let's see, who was the other offensive lineman, the Oklahoma offensive lineman, have been the ones that I've been looking to see where exactly they wind up.
Who's that? What is he? The left tackle guy.
The left tackle. He's only played the position for a year, but apparently he had a real good week out at the Senior Bowl. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Yeah, we looked at him. He was was he in Jeremiah's top 15 last week? He was pretty high. It was something we were looking at last week that had him either projected to go high or ranked very highly, which is not always the same thing necessarily. I'm looking at him right here. I have not seen him so far. I've gotten down into the 20s in this particular mock draft, and I've not seen there's Quinion Mitchell going at 25, the corner we've talked a lot about at this point in time. But anyway, let me just, without getting too bogged down.
I said Arkansas, I'm in Oklahoma.
You did say Oklahoma.
I did? Okay.
Yeah, at least I heard you saying, at least in my head.
Tyler Guyton.
Tyler Guyton, yeah. I knew it was a – all right, Tyler Guyton. In this one he goes 36th overall.
Okay.
Who knows, right? Maybe he skyrockets. All right. But in this, they say the Jags need to improve their offensive line, especially at center. Oh, someone is actually paying attention out there. Luke Fortner has yet to work out. Not – or maybe you'd look at him and say he's yet to work out.
Yet to work out, yeah.
But – they have a chance to add a great one in Jackson's Powers Johnson. Powers Johnson's versatility, raw power, and mobility make him a perfect option in Jacksonville with his mauler mindset, low pad level, and dense frame, Tony. At 6'3", 320, he can instantly improve the Jags' offensive line. All right, there you go. I mean, it's getting more evident if you're going to get him, you might have to spend that first-round pick.
Yeah.
Right.
If they're going to get him, it's going to have to be at 17.
So presuming the Jags hang on to their second pick, the 48th, in the draft. This projection has them taking Leonard Taylor, the Miami defensive tackle. The interior of the Jags defensive line was disappointing in 2023. They need to add more disruption and production through the middle. Leonard Taylor III has a great athletic profile and causes havoc when disrupting the pocket. His versatility fits well in Jacksonville where he can be lined up to cause mismatches in the trenches. How do you feel about D tackle at that spot?
Be okay with it.
Yeah.
Look, they obviously need help along that defensive front. I don't know how much is ultimately going to be available in free agency. That felt like a position that was pretty thin to choose from even in free agency. So whatever help they're going to add to that group, I think has to happen in the draft, I'm okay if that's with early in day 2.
And do we have any cap casualties there? Is Foley Fatukasi, even though you don't save a ton against the cap, but are you moving on from him? Because otherwise you've got a lot of money tied up in the defensive tackle position. So they've got him going. But it is look, both lines of scrimmage need improving. There's no question about it. So with that, they go to the 3rd round. Now, again, Jags likely won't have this pick. Won't be 79. Maybe it's 99, 20 picks later. But in this one, at 79, they have him going Christian Haynes, who's a guard out of UConn. So wait, we went O-line, D-line, O-line? That's actually not too bad. Ezra Cleveland scheduled to hit free agency. This is the write-up. Adding a guard along with Powers Johnson in the 1st would signal a complete retooling of the Jags' offensive line over the last 2 seasons.
That's for sure.
It would do that.
Yep.
It'd be cheap labor coming in. And if you did go down the road where you moved on from Cam Robinson, who knows, man? All these speculations, fortunately, will have some sense in about 5 weeks or so on exactly what's going to happen here. But it says Haynes has the power and strength profile to take one of the guard spots before the season. Well, he better damn well take the spot. Tired of 3rd-round picks, not making major impacts on this football team.
Yeah.
Like, there are enough holes on this team that a 3rd-round guard should be able to step in and compete for a starting spot right away. No question about it. But would they – now, look, this is what they would do. Would Balky admit that Luke Fortner is not working out? All he needs to do is eat his Wheaties more and get in the weight room? Who knows, Tone? I don't know. And would you, as a franchise, want a rookie center and guard starting next to each other as well?
I'd be okay with it.
You would.
Yeah.
Do you think the franchise would? We don't know.
They haven't shown that they'd be comfortable with that to this point.
Not to this point, but, I mean, Luke Fortner was a starting center as a rookie, but they try to bring in that vet guard presence to help him out. He's been in the league for a little while.
Barch was a real young player.
He was a young player, yeah. I mean, Anton came in as a rook this year, so maybe they would. I don't know. The rest of the picks, they go corner in – I'm trying to see here, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think this is the Saints' 4th-round pick, which would be 116. Jalen Simpson, the corner out of Auburn. So going corner there.
Okay.
They go wide receiver, Javon Baker out of UCF with their own 4th-round pick. The Alabama kicker. And how would you feel about any kicker in the draft? I don't, man.
Late day 3, whatever.
If it's like the 7th round, I don't think the 5th is late, though.
Yeah.
I don't, I get it. If sometimes you get it. I just feel like kickers, even the best prospects sometimes don't hit. You look at Dallas, man, just go find the guy that Dallas is scouting, right? I mean, they brought in the guy this year that didn't miss a field goal. He missed some extra points. I don't know. I'm not, I'm not saying it's not a need. It's clearly a need right now. You know, the kicker. But I don't know if that's how I want to address it. They go another wide receiver out of Southeast Missouri and Ryan Flournoy in round 6, and MJ Devonshire, a corner out of Pittsburgh. So 2 corners and 2 receivers after going 2 offensive linemen and a defensive lineman and then a kicker. All that is lining up with needs, no question about it. So at least I'll give them credit for doing their homework on that.
Yeah. At least they're addressing needs for the football team. Give them credit for that. Although, we talk about this when we get these 7-round drops and these 7-round mocks, which we mention it every time we go through them. But yeah, it's more, are they hitting that what we feel like are the actual needs for the football team? I saw at home, I think over at CBS, that he had the Jags taking defensive end in the first round of the draft, basically with the thought being if they let Josh Allen go, and it's like, well, that ain't happening.
They're not letting him go.
Like, I don't even think the Latu pick, which is who they had him taking out of UCLA, I don't think that's a ridiculous pick in that spot. With Josh Allen coming back, I would be okay with the idea of taking a defensive end in that particular spot, but it's not going to be because Josh Allen may not be here. Josh Allen's going to be on the team next year, and I can't take anything else you're going to say about the team seriously.
Right. If you say that, and if you say, look, maybe he plays under the franchise tag and he's not here for the long term, okay. Right? I mean, yeah, that's certainly possible. I can't rule that out entirely. I mean, that's kind of what we brought up with Mike DiRocco. I think Josh Allen will play this year. right? But
Yes.
if I'm Josh Allen and you franchise tag me, am I going to show up for anything if I'm not under contract until right before the start of the season?
No.
And then if I don't, and I get it, he came in, he showed up in great shape last year and all that, but are you, if you do go down that road, you haven't been to minicamp, OTAs, training camp, are you in the kind of shape to make an impact early in the season? And we're paying you at that point, like one of the top 5 guys at your position, we need you to make an impact for 17 games. You know, that's not to say you're going to rescind the franchise tag. That's just one of the dangers of not getting something done before the franchise tag window closes, because you just don't know at that point. Maybe Josh Allen goes, hey, look, I'll play it out on the tag. I'll see you in early September.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be his prerogative. And what are you going to do? Remove it? Somebody will still have cap. Someone out there will have the cap space and the creativity to get him signed
No doubt.
to a long-term deal. You're not going to let him walk. And they made that very clear, nor should they let him walk. Just what are the particulars between now and March 4th or 5th, whatever the deadline is for applying that tag?
Mm-hmm.
How hard do they try to get a deal done? Or are they content to go, we got plenty of time, we got months, we'll let this play out, we're going to make sure he doesn't go anywhere by applying the tag with the goal? I mean, there's so many benefits to getting the deal done early.
And it did feel, mentioning when we're talking to D-Rock about the potential situation they could have been in if Ingram had to play the year under the franchise tag.
Yes.
Now, luckily, that isn't how it worked out, and they'd be going into this offseason with the 2 guys they have. Plus Ingram, right? And so you look at what would that look like next year? Well, it's not quite the situation they're in this year as far as the names that would be on that list, but it would mean they'd still be trying to figure out what to do with Josh Allen, right? Are they going to franchise him for the second year in a row? And really, the other question would be Tyson Campbell would be the big one. Andre Cisco would be on that list. Like those kind of guys, Walker Little has become less and less part of that conversation about being worried about what his long-term future looks like in Jacksonville. But it would be better for the team to not have to be making a decision again between Josh Allen and Tyson Campbell. And we only got one. Right? Like, it would be nice to have that handled this offseason to not have to be put in that situation again. They want to hold on to Josh Allen and Calvin Ridley is my guess.
Yeah.
They want both back in the building. They can't make that happen because they only got one tag.
Well, they can, though.
They got to pay big money for Calvin.
Or pay big money for Josh and get it done.
And they seem very content right now to play out the tag on Josh.
But, look, they're not stupid. You may think their actions tell you otherwise, but they're at least aware of the circumstances, right? They know that if Calvin hits free agency, they don't have control over which way it goes, And I wonder if they've spoken with his representation at this point. I hope not, honestly, because that would be a terrible signal to send if you're reaching out to his camp over Josh Allen's camp at this point in time. So we'll sit back and see how it plays out over the next 5 weeks or so. We'll come back on the other side, take a look at the Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day and weigh in ourselves on that one. What's the peak we'll see the Jaguars get to in the Trevor Lawrence era here in Jacksonville? Will Super Bowl 59 or one of the ones that follow feature the Jags maybe in winning the Lombardi Trophy? Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark here with you. You're listening to Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Food, sandwiches, subs, all those delicious goodies out there. We appreciate you starting your week with Jaguars Today. A great way to start your day is how about breakfast from Dandy? Swing into an area gate location. They're all over town. And head to the Fresh Case and look at the wonderful breakfast items that they've got out there for you. Just about every breakfast ingredient you can think of combined in a myriad of packages. Buttermilk biscuits, soft flaky croissants, French toast, light tasty maple waffles, sizzling country sausage, Black Forest ham, thick sliced bacon, peppered fried eggs, Wisconsin cheddar cheese. There are probably plenty I'm forgetting, but think of all the wonderful combos they can put together. Dandy's got something to start your day off right, or any time of day for that matter. Don't want to get weighed down, but want to get filled up. Dandy's got great options on the go, like protein packs, fruit cups, veggie trays, you name it. Something for everybody. When you're hungry, do what I do. Go out and make yours a Dandy. Do it today.
Jaguars Today.
Jaguars Today.
From the JOI Studios at 1010XL.
Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute.
Where the pros go.
I'm Logan Cook from the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So Logan Cook will kick it away. And they're going to throw it to Walker. And it's going to be a first down.
Oh, 1010XL.
Have you been dreaming of enhancing your living space with top-quality custom windows and doors? Now is the perfect time to make that dream a reality with Renewal by Andersen. Right now, buy 4 windows or patio doors and get the 5th free. Plus, no money down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. This offer expires February 29th and restrictions apply. Renewal by Andersen, proud to be the official window and door replacement partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit rbafla.com.
License number CGC 1527613.
Have you tried golfing at the improved Cimarron Golf Club? If you haven't, tell you what, you're missing out on the best deal in Jacksonville. Now, many of you have received a postcard in the mail, and of course, if you bring that with you, $45 plus tax to play. That includes a cart, lunch, and a beer at the brand new Stone Barrel Tap House. Now, go to the website, that is CimarronGolfClub.com, and sign up for the Wild One Loyalty Program. That's the Wild One Loyalty Program, and get all of these specials emailed to you from Cimarron.
AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
Get a free mulligan every Tuesday morning.
Check this out.
And free advice from PGA pros.
Now, this is what we're looking for, huh?
Brunch with the Tour.
Brought to you by Clearwater Irrigation. 8:30 Tuesday morning on 1010XL.
Mark Watson here to tell you a little bit about hardballcreative.com. It's your online promo haven with thousands of ideas on how to promote your company. We're open 24/7, 365.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. Clayton, I have heard you talk about growing a diamond from a small size to a larger size. Exactly how does that work at Underwoods?
David, it's a very simple thing we do on diamond solitaire rings and diamond ear studs and diamond solitaire necklaces. When a customer buys one of these items from Underwoods, we guarantee they get the price paid for it on the purchase of any larger or more expensive diamond. Now, a lot of places would say we do the same thing, but where Underwoods is different is we don't care if you're only trading up by 1/100th of a carat or going up by $1. We give the customer the full value of the diamond they're trading in. The Underwood Grow a Diamond program has been in place for a number of years, and it's something the people here in North Florida have been taking advantage of for a long time.
That's at Underwoods, where you can grow a diamond.
Underwoods, serving excellence since 1928 in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Underwood Jewelers.
When you got a problem, nothing hits the sweet spot like a promise. And if you think you have a problem in selling your home, we got your promise with ChadandSandy.com. That's ChadandSandy.com. You want me to just get right down to it? As simple as this. Your home sold, guaranteed, or they will buy it. So no matter what you think your problem is, maybe you're worried about selling for less money with a lowball instant offer, Chad and Sandy will deliver. They're the only real estate experts that we are trusting and recommending with the sale of your home. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Derek on the north side. After my father passed, I wanted to move to Tampa ASAP to be close to my family. Unfortunately, my plan hit a snag when my home failed to sell with another agent in over 151 days on the market. I hired Chad and Sandy. They sold it for full asking price in less than 30 days. If they don't, they'll buy it. Call Chad and Sandy today at 904-414-6200 or go to ChadandSandy.com.
This is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about how God never fails us. In the Bible, Christ says this: I will in no way fail you or leave you without support. This is so important to remember because we can have the attitude, where is God when I need him? Why is this problem happening to me? No, just because your mind is saying one thing doesn't mean that God isn't going to do what he said. God has never failed us in the past. He's not about to start right now.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
Electricians, innovators, and tech enthusiasts, listen up. Miller Electric is shaping the future, and we want you to be a part of it. From healthcare and data centers, corporate offices, aviation, and industrial facilities, Miller Electric is powering the most exciting projects in Jacksonville and beyond. We offer not just a job, but a thrilling career with great pay and incredible benefits. Visit us at millercareers.com to apply. Miller Electric, where your skills meet our vision, and equal opportunity employer.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Muhammad Ali, the legendary boxer and charismatic icon. His unyielding spirit inside the ring and fearless advocacy outside inspired a generation.
Ali, a symbol of strength, conviction, and the power of resilience. It's Black History Month on 1010XL. I'm E.T., and this profile is brought to you by Instant Keys. Fast, honest, reliable locksmith service.
Certainly facing challenging economic times, I can't speak for all of us, but for me, comforting to know my money is in good hands with ITP Partners. Ticket here for ITP Partners, Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. I'll admit it, I don't understand a ton about the economy, higher interest rates, 401ks, but I do know as I move closer to retirement, I continue to watch my money grow. Thanks to Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, and Reed Wingate. Get in the game, guys. ITP Partners, always there to help. For more info, Chris at ITPPartners.com or call 904-312-9751.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Apparently it might be International Week on Jaguars Today. We have Christoph visiting us in studio tomorrow from Brazil, which is very nice. You know, trying to show how much he wants that producing job full time. Making that trip up, just saying pockets.
I can be bought.
Something to watch out for tomorrow. Watch that guy. But no, we'll enjoy having him stop by the studio tomorrow. Our man Christoph has made the trip across the pond from the UK many a time to visit, including, I believe, once when Christoph, we had the gang all together down at the stadium not that long ago, and he joins us now. Christoph, haven't heard from you in a little while, man. Good to hear from you. What's going on?
Oh, it's good to hear you guys, obviously.
So what's up, brother?
I was just wondering, what do you guys think is going to be the situation with Travis Etienne? Obviously, you guys go on about like what's going to happen with Calvin Ridley, Josh Allen, and Trevor Lawrence. But what about Etienne? He's been one of the more productive guys on offense. Obviously, when he got hurt and was dealing with whatever he was dealing with during the season, the offense went down the drain. And, yeah, so that was it, basically. And I'll take your guys' comments off the air.
All right, brother. Good to talk to you, man. Happy New Year across the pond. My suspicion, Tony, is they'll activate the fifth-year option on Travis Etienne, which he'll have to do this offseason, right, because he's going into year 4, the last year of his rookie deal.
Correct.
Coming up. So they'll accept the fifth-year option. What's the term I'm looking for with the fifth-year option?
Pick it up.
Pick it up. Pick up the fifth-year option. And then I think that's overwhelmingly likely that might be it for him in Jacksonville, quite frankly. I just think will this team – I don't know what situation will be in cap-wise the next time he'd have to look at getting a long-term deal. But, I mean, if he's going to be looking at, who knows, $10 million a year or whatever. You know, you see what these running backs get sometimes. Now, you know, maybe it's a Miles Sanders type deal where he got $6 million last year. I think Etienne's a better player, but I think the likelihood is that whether it's Tank Bigsby or a guy who's not yet even in the National Football League, that after a couple more years, the Jags will probably move on from Travis Etienne.
At the running back position, there are 9 players that are averaging over $10 million a year.
I don't want to be paying one of those guys.
Right, 9. And that list is McCaffrey, Kamara, Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Aaron Jones, Josh Jacobs, right? And
that
Tony
sound
Pollard,
like 9. Okay.
Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, those guys were playing on the franchise tag this year.
Those are the guys that this year are getting $10 million or more.
I mean, could they franchise tag him for a year or something like that? Sure, could. I mean, look, I think they might want to sign him to like a 3-year extension, but it depends on what the money looks like and what other kind of holes you've created for yourself between now and then.
And by the way, the gap after that, it goes from 10 down to 7, right? There's nobody in between there as far as what they're getting on an annual basis. It goes from 10 with Saquon. James Conner gets 7.
Okay.
That's next on the list. Miles Sanders, 6.35.
And he was the big winner in free agency last year, and it was a bust.
Yeah. Austin Eckler, 6.1.
Right, and think about all that Austin Eckler had done in his career. Now, granted, older player.
Absolutely.
And it looked like the Chargers made the right decision there.
And then David Montgomery at 6, Joe Mixon at 5.75. I kept going because Bijan Robinson is right below Joe Mixon.
And he's on a rookie deal.
Right, at 5.5. To give you an idea where the running back market is, I don't see, even as good a player as Etienne has been the last couple of years on the field, I don't see the team investing big money at the running back spot like that.
All right, let's do that. We got a lot to do in the final few minutes. Quick swing around the National Football League.
Now, Gems Around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
The Las Vegas Raiders are expected to hire former Chicago Bears offensive coordinator Luke Getsy to be their new OC. Former Arizona head coach Cliff Kingsbury reportedly removed his name from consideration for that job late last week. He has since been hired by Washington to come in and be their new offensive coordinator. The New Orleans Saints are letting pieces of their offensive staff go after hiring Clint Kubiak to be their new offensive coordinator. Those changes will include letting go of Doug Marrone, who has worked as the Saints offensive line coach for the last 2 seasons following his 4-year tenure as the head coach of the Jags from 2017 to 2020.
Doug, out of a job. So be it.
He'll find another one somewhere.
I'm sure he will.
Yeah.
That's, position coaches usually get recycled over and over and over again. All right, let's take a look at today's poll question in the form of the 10-10 take.
10-10
take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take. Brought to you by Leonard Truck Accessories.
All right, I'm not going to be that guy. I am going to vote for the Jags winning a Super Bowl if you presume that Trevor Lawrence gets an extension here. Although, that's somewhat voting with my heart.
Yeah.
Because if we were outside this market, we'd look at it. And, Doom sent me a thing here. He said, look, 16 teams in the AFC, and 13 of them have appeared in the AFC title game over the last 24 years, in reference to Mike DeRocco saying how hard it is to get to that point. Doesn't seem that hard. That's over a 24-year period. That's just getting to the AFC title game, right? So, and I get it. That's what he's talking about. But if you presume Trevor signs an extension, okay, so what does that guarantee? Another 7 years in Jacksonville?
Yeah.
Maybe something like the 7 or 8, maybe not, maybe even more, but it's not 24 years.
Yeah.
And that's only getting to the title game in the conference. So
yeah, you look at the other quarterbacks in the AFC, right? I think most people would say Mahomes and Burrow because we've seen both of them in the Super Bowl, right, recently, that those guys
Lamar Jackson's going to win another MVP.
Like, do you think Lamar Jackson's going to win a Super Bowl? Do you think he's going to play in a Super Bowl?
I think he could.
Right. How about Herbert?
I mean, I think he has a better chance with Harbaugh there, but Herbert also, I wonder about his clutch DNA because we haven't seen it in the postseason.
Right. With the point, especially with the Herbert thing, the point being how much ahead or behind of Herbert is Trevor Lawrence. How about Josh Allen?
I think we like to think of him as ahead of Herbert because he beat him head-to-head.
Yeah.
But is he really?
Right. Josh Allen?
Josh Allen's ahead of Trevor.
Right.
But how long will he remain there? And
yet.
He hasn't gotten there, right?
Right.
No,
it's a difficult road to get to that point in your career. And really in the AFC, I think, Mahomes and Burrow, the expectation is going to be pretty much every year, if they both remain healthy, that they're going to have a chance, right, to play in a Super Bowl here in the near future. We're trying to project a little bit here over the course of 10 years.
Right.
With the idea of there being a second contract for Trevor. So it expands the window on these kind of things, but I don't think Mahomes' window is ending during that 10-year period.
We saw it this year, right? You thought this is a year for the window to at least close, to not let the draft in.
Like,
quite
I wouldn't
as
be
much.
surprised if a championship window for Josh Allen ends in that period of time.
It could, absolutely.
Right, that kind of thing.
But who else comes into the league
Absolutely.
in that period of time and becomes what if Jaden Daniels goes to New England and becomes the next hot thing,
Could
right?
be.
Or Drake May or whomever the case may be. I still voted for Super Bowl champs because I just have to believe.
Yeah.
I just do. I don't want to 3 years into it think we've seen the best. All right. And honestly, if I'm playing, like if I was outside of the market, I'm just like gambling on this, I'd probably say play in the AFC title game because it is that hard to get to the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
And all those teams that played in the title game, not all of them made it to the Super Bowl. Jags have never done it historically. And like you said, there's such intense competition. But right now, over 525 votes, 60% still believe that a Super Bowl championship will be in the future if Trevor Lawrence gets a long-term deal done, which I believe he will get done with the Jags. 15% going AFC champs is where they max out, so a Super Bowl appearance without the title. Playing in the AFC title game at 14%, and 11% say they've already peaked by making it to the divisional round of the playoffs. We have not peaked. We're only going to get better. XL Primetime is right now.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Tire Outlet. Tire Outlet is now hiring. Visit TireOutlet.com/careers. Equal opportunity employer.
Joe C in the house, my St. Augustine Mafia brother.
What is happening? What is happening?
Well, I tell you, Joey, you know me. I'm probably outdoors as much as any of us here, but I wear the sleeves all the time, right?
Right.
I got that winter hail going on hardcore right now, man.
The winter whiteness. I look at my legs. I don't think I could I put them out there.
Who are you? I thought you had Mexican heritage.
I know. My brother stayed brown, but I didn't. I put my white legs out there. The sun won't even talk to them.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
I don't know, man. Look, quite honestly, don't care. I'm off the market. Have been for a long time, much to the fortune of all the ladies in Northeast Florida and everywhere. And my wife seems to like me. So who am I trying to impress?
Go figure, right? But
honestly.
But it is weird. The legs just I don't know why it's not working, but it won't work.
All right, so Joey, we're asking today that we want to be Super Bowl themed this week, but tied in with the Jags.
Sure.
So presuming Trevor Lawrence signs an extension, he's here for a minimum like a 10-year period to start his career, maybe longer.
Right.
Where do they peak? Do they win a Super Bowl? Do you still have that belief? Or is it somewhere in between what they've done already? Because making it to the divisional round is not a small accomplishment.
No, we shouldn't dismiss it. I've learned the Final Four is the way we should appreciate the NFC and AFC because we do, in college basketball, we appreciate the Final Four because then, I don't know, you always have to have a little bit of luck. But making to the Super Bowl is still that did you or didn't you? If you're talking about a great quarterback. Did you or didn't you? Well, here's the crazy thing. If you look at the National Football League starting quarterbacks right now, how many of them have made it?
Not many.
No. Burrow, Stafford, Goff. There just aren't that many. And Mahomes is now ruling the day, of course. And then we've seen Tom Brady step away. Josh Allen's been in the league for how long? Over a half decade. And he's been an enormous talent and hasn't made it yet. So
have they made it to the AFC title game?
No. Yeah, I thought they.
I don't think they have.
Okay, maybe not. Maybe not because I was thinking that great game with the
that was divisional round.
They thought this year would be the year because you have Kansas City at home.
They've not made it then.
And then Kansas City lost to
Cincinnati
about that. The next week.
And now,
right? Okay, you're right. So that
Stephon Diggs, mysteriously, the second half of the year, his production went off the table.
Yeah.
Is he still an elite receiver? And maybe but you know what I mean? Like how long does it stay that way?
Yeah, because he had to go to Gabe Davis, which is one of his guys that he loves, Shakira, or however you say his name. I like to say
Shakir.
I like to say Shakira.
Shakir.
But anyway, he had to go to other weapons, two different tight ends that they've been throwing the football to. Bottom line is he's an enormous talent. He's been in the league since 18, so he's not made it. And so basically
Lamar hasn't made it?
No, you're talking about, I think, 3 or 4 guys in the league right now that have made it. That is it.
Yeah. And going back and looking, by the way, Buffalo did lose the AFC Championship game to Kansas City.
Okay, I was thinking that, but that may not have been the OT game then. Because I
no,
thought
that wasn't
OT was divisional.
Okay.
Yeah, the Chiefs beat them that year 38-24. Yeah.
And still, that's only one game further than Trevor Lawrence has taken the Jags.
Yeah, and it's not in recent memory either. To
Correct.
Tony's point.
Right, so we had to go back a few years.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Anyway, we'll be talking about those kind of topics all week long. I'm sure you'll be tying in some Jaguar-related Super Bowl talk as well. What are you guys getting into today?
Yeah, speaking of the Jags and Freddie Taylor, maybe a Hall of Fame recognition coming. We don't know. His running backs coach, Gerald Ingram's going to hang out with us in the noon hour. He will pop in, tell some good old stories, and then we'll have Mike Bianchi, who was at the Pro Bowl, talking a little bit about what maybe the latest will be with the stadium. Down there, possibly for Jacksonville, and then the quarterback whisper in the 2 o'clock hour. And we got prop bets for the Super Bowl. We'll be doing all kinds of stuff.
Beautiful. All right, Joey, have a good show
all right, fellas.
coming up. By the way, new feature on Tuesdays. So we'll just take the question today. We're going to make it a Tuesday top 5 every week. So I wanted to give you a little ahead time to think here. Ahead time to think, Tony.
Time to think ahead.
Time to think. Whatever. It's all the same. I hope, just jumble my words in whatever order you like them, and it probably gets the same gist. Who's that on the broadcast right there? Anyway, got distracted by an attractive golf announcer. All right, so tomorrow what we're doing is your 5 favorite Super Bowl memories. Okay, it could be a single play, could be, maybe you went to a Super Bowl, maybe you watched one with your dad when you were a kid and it got you into football. It could be anything, right? It could be you watched one of your favorite players go on to play in the Super Bowl, even if it wasn't for your franchise. Whatever it is, just your 5 favorite Super Bowl memories tomorrow, and we'll give you hours, and we'll count them down throughout the day and have some fun with that and continue to monitor all things Jacksonville Jaguars. That'll do it for us today. Thanks to Mike DeRocco of ESPN for stopping by. Tony Smith and Dylan Denmark, excellent job as always. I'm Mike Dempsey. Keep it right here for XL Primetime. Coming up next for the next 3 hours on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Yo, Jacksonville. Man, y'all get off of T-Law.
Jaguars Today.
From the JOI studios at